Imagine paying $500 a month for 21 years just to finish paying for a $38,000 degree. That means your education didn't cost $38,000. It cost you $130,000, and $90,000 of that went to the bank, not your future. Welcome to the student loan trap. And today, we're exposing the shocking truth that keeps millions of Americans poor for decades. I'm your host, and this is Luxona, where millionaires are made. What I'm about to show you will fundamentally change how you think about college, debt, and your financial future. Because while everyone else is celebrating their graduation day, they're actually signing up for 2 decades of financial imprisonment. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be this way. There's a different path. A path that the wealthy have been using for generations, while everyone else falls into the same predictable trap. So buckle up, because today we're going to break down the numbers, reveal the hidden costs, and show you exactly how to build wealth instead of debt. Let's start with the facts that will make your jaw drop. The average student loan borrower takes 21 years to pay off their debt. 21 years. That's longer than most people stay married these days. They borrow an average of $38,000 for their degree. Sounds reasonable, right? Wrong. By the time they make their final payment, they've paid $130,000. Let me say that again. $130,000 for a $38,000 education. Where did that extra $92,000 go? Interest. Pure, simple interest that compounded year after year while they made minimum payments. Think about that for a moment. $92,000 in interest alone. That's more than double what they actually borrowed. That's a house down payment. That's a business investment. That's generational wealth. Handed over to lenders. And here's the kicker. Most people don't even realize this is happening. They focus on the monthly payment, not the total cost. They think $500 a month sounds manageable, but $500 a month for 21 years? That's $126,000 just in payments before you even add the interest calculations. Did you know student loans took the average person 21 years to pay off? Is that worth it to you? Think about what you could accomplish in 21 years if you weren't making loan payments. You could start multiple businesses. You could buy real estate. You could build generational wealth. Instead, you're sending a check to a bank every month. Drop a comment and let me know your thoughts. Now, let's talk about why this happens. It's called compound interest, and it's either your greatest ally or your worst enemy. The wealthy use it to build fortunes. The poor get crushed by it. Here's how it works with student loans. Let's say you borrow $40,000 at 6% interest. If you make minimum payments, you're paying roughly $450 a month. But here's what most people don't understand. In the early years, almost all of that payment goes to interest, not principal. In your first payment, maybe $250 goes to interest, and only $200 actually reduces your debt. Your $40,000 balance barely budges. Meanwhile, that interest keeps compounding. It's like fighting a battle where the enemy gets stronger every day while you're barely holding your ground. This is why that $38,000 degree becomes $130,000. The math isn't complicated, it's just hidden from you. The marketing focuses on monthly payments and graduation ceremonies. Nobody talks about the next 2 decades of your life. But here's what really breaks my heart about this system. It's not just about the money you pay, it's about the wealth you'll never build. Think about it this way. What if instead of paying $500 a month to a lender for 21 years, you invested that $500 in the stock market? The stock market has averaged about 10% returns over the long term. So that same $500 a month, invested for 21 years, would grow to over $400,000. Read that again. $400,000. So the real cost of your student loan isn't $130,000. It's $130,000 plus the $400,000 you could have built in wealth. That's over $500,000 in total opportunity cost. This is why the rich get richer and the poor stay poor. The wealthy understand that debt is the enemy of wealth building. They avoid it like the plague, or they use it strategically to acquire assets. They don't borrow money to pay for consumption, which is exactly what a college degree is. What's your biggest fear about going into debt for college? Is it the monthly payments? Is it the uncertainty of finding a job after graduation? Or is it the thought of being trapped in payments for decades? I'm curious to hear your perspective in the comments, because here's what most people don't realize. The student loan system is designed to keep you paying for as long as possible. Banks don't want you to pay off your loans quickly. They want you to make minimum payments for decades. That's where their profit comes from. Every extra month you pay is money in their pocket and money out of yours. Now, I'm not saying college is worthless. In certain fields, medicine, law, engineering, the return on investment can still make sense. But most degrees, they're lifestyle purchases masquerading as investments. The wealthy think differently. They ask different questions. Instead of, how much per month? They ask, what's the total cost? Instead of, how quickly can I graduate? They ask, how can I minimize the financial risk? Instead of, everyone else is doing it, they ask, what's the alternative? This mindset shift is everything. Because once you start thinking like this, you realize there's a completely different path. A path that leads to wealth instead of debt. Here's the principle that changed everything for me. It's better to wait and pay cash than rush and owe your future to a lender. Let me say that again, because it's that important. It's better to wait and pay cash than rush and owe your future to a lender. So what does this look like practically? How do you get an education without mortgaging your future? Strategy number 1, start at community college. 2 years at community college can save you $60,000 or more. The classes are smaller, the professors often care more about teaching, and you'll graduate with the same degree as someone who spent 4 years at a university. Strategy number 2, work while you study. I know, everyone says, you can't work and study. That's nonsense. Millions of people do it successfully. Work part-time, build your savings, and pay as you go. Strategy number 3, hunt for scholarships. There are thousands of scholarships that go unclaimed every year. Small ones, weird ones, local ones. Apply for everything. Even $500 scholarships add up. A $500 scholarship here, a $1,000 scholarship there. Before you know it, you've covered a full semester. And every scholarship you win is money you don't have to borrow. Money that won't accumulate interest for the next 21 years. Strategy number 4, choose your major strategically. This is where most people make their biggest mistake. They choose a major based on passion without considering the return on investment. If you're going to invest in education, make sure it pays back. Engineering, computer science, nursing. These fields have clear career paths and good salaries. They're recession-proof. They're in demand. They pay well enough to justify the education cost. Art history, philosophy, gender studies? Not so much. I'm not saying these subjects aren't valuable, but they're expensive hobbies, not profitable investments. Strategy number 5, build an education fund. This is what wealthy families do. They start saving for their children's education before the kids can even walk. Start saving early. Even $200 a month, starting at age 16, can build a significant education fund by age 18. Your parents can help, you can contribute from part-time work, grandparents can chip in. Make it a family priority. The key is changing your timeline. Instead of rushing to college at 18, maybe you go at 20 or 22. You work for a few years, save money, figure out what you actually want to do with your life. This gap isn't a failure. It's strategic planning. It's what smart people do. Here's what happens when you pay cash for college. First, you avoid that $90,000 in interest payments. That's $90,000 that stays in your pocket instead of going to a bank. Think about what you could do with an extra $90,000. You could start a business. You could buy rental property. You could invest in the stock market. You could travel the world. Second, you start your career with zero debt. Your entire salary can go toward building wealth from day one. No monthly payments hanging over your head. No stress about making ends meet. Just pure wealth-building potential. Third, you have negotiating power. When you can pay cash, you can often get discounts, especially at private schools. Schools would rather have cash up front than deal with financial aid paperwork. You become a preferred customer. But most importantly, you develop the habit of delayed gratification. You learn to save before you spend. You build wealth before you build lifestyle. This is how millionaires think. They don't borrow money for consumption. They save money to invest in assets. They understand that every dollar borrowed is a dollar that can't be invested. And every dollar invested today becomes multiple dollars tomorrow. If you want to learn more about building wealth, breaking free from debt traps, and mastering the mindset of money, join our Patreon community at patreon.com/Luxona. It's like Netflix, but for personal finance, and it's where millionaires are made. Because here's the truth, personal finance isn't really about money. It's about mindset. It's about making decisions that your future self will thank you for. Most people make financial decisions based on emotions, peer pressure, and immediate gratification. The wealthy make decisions based on math, long-term thinking, and strategic planning. Which person do you want to be? So here's my challenge to you. What's your plan? Will you follow the crowd and trade 2 decades of payments for a piece of paper? Or will you choose the path less traveled and build wealth instead of debt? I want you to think about this seriously. Picture yourself in 10 years. In one scenario, you're still making student loan payments, watching your friends buy houses and start businesses while you're stuck in debt. In the other scenario, you're debt-free, building wealth, and living life on your own terms. Which future do you want? So tell me, what's your plan? Will you wait and pay cash or give away your future income for 21 years? Are you going to be like everyone else, or are you going to choose a different path? The path of patience, the path of strategic thinking, the path of wealth building. Drop a comment, we read every single one. And if you found this video helpful, hit that like button. It helps more people discover the truth about student loans. Remember, you don't have to be average. Most people trade decades of payments for a piece of paper. They graduate with debt and spend the next 21 years paying for it. But you can play the game differently. You can choose patience over instant gratification. You can choose wealth over debt. You can choose freedom over bondage. You can choose to think long-term instead of short-term. The choice is yours. But whatever you choose, make it consciously. Don't just follow the crowd, because that's what everyone else is doing. Think for yourself. Do the math. Calculate the total cost, not just the monthly payment. Plan for your future, because your future self is counting on the decisions you make today. Every choice you make either moves you closer to wealth or closer to debt. Choose wisely. This is Luxona, where millionaires are made.